One of the best parts about being a real estate wholesaler is you get to cherry pick the very best deals for you to keep for yourself. I am here with Mr. Pace Morby, Mr. Subject to, who owns over 100 properties, and he's going to break down the 5 reasons why you need to be owning the best deals that you come across. Check this out. Hey everybody, it is Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, and I am here with Pace Morby, Mr. Subject to. So, Pace, you own over 100 properties, right?
Yeah, between me and my partners, we own a little over 100 properties.
Why?
It's the only thing to spend money on. You know, one thing I've learned you can only do one of 2 things with your money. And what are those?
You can invest it or you can spend it.
That's right, guys. So you can either invest your money or you can spend it. And I see wholesalers for years and years in the game still chasing deals. And the one thing they're not doing is building their legacy. And so what we're going to be talking about today is the 5 ways, or the 5 reasons rather, to own real estate so that you can build your legacy.
Okay. So let's break it down. I mean, listen, guys, these are very, you know, we hear about these, we understand these, but we're going to break it down a little bit differently here because you're getting the perspective of somebody that is out there every single day building his portfolio and the reasons why he builds these pillars into his wealth building machine, and he's going to break it down. So this is a real treat. So show everybody.
Hey guys, so number 1 is cash flow. Very obvious. So it allows guys like Brent Daniels to go take 5 days off at his TTP cabin. It allows me to take 2 months off and travel the west side of the country with my family. It's called passive income, otherwise cash flow. What is cash flow? Cash flow is the difference between what I pay the bank on my mortgage or on my loan and what I collect in rents from my properties. Now, rents could be a plethora of things. It could be my Airbnb income. It could be if I own a group home, all the income I receive off that. But traditionally, most people are renting their properties out, receiving income from their tenants after paying all their expenses and maybe putting a little bit of money to the side for repairs and vacancy. You're going to have a difference, and that difference is called cash flow. Some people call it mailbox money.
Right.
It's money that keeps coming every month, baby.
But what is and this is the thing, this is building up the amount of cash flow, building up the amount of passive income to cover your monthly expenses or to add to your lifestyle. That is what the wealthy do.
100%.
That is how you build a fortune.
Yeah, and an easy way to start is you say, okay, what is my monthly nut? What is the amount of money I need to make every single month, bare minimum? And when I started, this is years ago, when I started, I looked at it, I said, how do I just get to $5,000 a month in cash flow? Money that I can put in my pocket. I can go buy sushi. I can go buy new tires for my car. Whatever I want to do with that money, how do I get that money in my pocket? And I figured out that the average house that has a loan on it and has tenants in it, the difference between those two nets about $425 per month in cash flow. So how many houses do I need to go out and own to basically get rid of all my needs for a job or any sort of financial stress whatsoever? It was 10 houses for me. So I said, how do I get to 10 houses? Then when I got to 10 houses, I go, that was way easier than I thought. Why? Because as a wholesaler, I'm the lucky guy that gets to see all the best properties coming through the pipeline.
That's it. And here's the thing, guys. Listen, like when you are sourcing your own opportunities, when you're out there finding deals, that's all wholesaling is. All wholesaling is finding deals. You get to determine what the exit strategy is for them. And what you're saying is keep some for yourself, build up your portfolio.
Yes, actually one of your students, Katie and Jack, you know them very well. They're an amazing couple. I've done multiple deals with some of his students here in town. They're crushing it, by the way. And I see them, they'll make a $10, $15, a $25, a $30,000 assignment fee, but now they're starting to get that passive income because they figured out through learning from you and your YouTube channel, I'm going to cherry pick the very best ones. So now they're starting to accumulate cash flow on top of picking. So they make a determination. Which ones do I want to assign? And which ones do I want to keep? And every house, you're going to get $400 to $600 a month in cash flow in your pocket.
But how do people keep these properties, right? Like if somebody's building up, they've done a couple deals here and there, they don't have enough money to be able to just buy these properties cash. I mean, how do you own these properties If you can't right now, maybe get a loan. You can't buy them cash. How do you how you find these great deals? What do you do?
So there's 3 ways that you can buy property, in my opinion.
Yes.
Number 1, everybody knows about, it's going out and getting a loan, right? You've got to have good credit. You got to have all this stuff. Everybody knows that route, so we don't need to go into the details of
Right.
it. Number 2 is I can get it sold to me on seller finance, which means I tell the seller, in fact, Katie and Jack, who I just referenced, their first property they bought on seller finance.
Right.
A seller who they got a package of homes, a little over 35 homes, Katie and Jack wholesaled a few and then asked the seller to seller finance one of those properties to them, which means the seller says, I want 200 grand for the property.
Yep.
I'm willing to give you a loan for 190 if you give me $10,000 down.
Yep.
So what Katie and Jack did is they got a $25,000 assignment off one of their previous houses, took 10 grand, gave it to the seller, and now they're making $500 a month in cash flow.
Awesome.
So that's way number 2. The third way to buy properties is actually taking over somebody's existing debt.
Right.
And that would be called subject to. You guys, we've talked about this a bunch. If you want to know more about that, go to my Creative Finance Facebook group, maybe
Or your YouTube channel.
or my YouTube channel.
Yep.
So what that means is that I bought a property actually from another one of your students. And I've bought properties from you.
Yeah.
Where there's no equity in the deal,
Yeah.
but the seller is willing to hand the keys over to you and say, just relieve me of the burden of this house. And what is the burden? The burden is their payment.
Yeah.
Sellers are not real estate investors like us. So they don't look at that house as an opportunity to rent it out. They look at
Nor
that
do
as,
they want to.
Nor do they want to.
They don't want to be landlords.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. They don't want to do what we want to do. So I've bought properties. Actually, one of my best deals came from you guys this year on Pueblo. I did a whole breakdown on that house. I bought it for 44 grand. I'm into it all in about 50 grand, but none of that was out of pocket because I took over existing debt.
Right.
That house cash flows me $900 a month.
Incredible.
No money out of pocket.
Incredible. That's bananas.
I took over
That's so
a seller's
ridiculous.
debt. That's
Right.
all it came down to. So you can buy properties 3 ways. I try and teach people do seller finance
Yep.
or subject to because you don't need credit, you don't need credentials. A lot of times you don't need any money out of pocket.
And guys, if you want sub2.com, you can check out all your resources there. Let's move on to appreciation.
Oh my gosh, appreciation is amazing. It's this magic wand that you don't even know it's happening.
Right.
So let's.
And this is what I see is the number one wealth builder. I mean, listen, you buy a property at a certain price at a certain time, and like magic, all of a sudden now it's worth double, maybe triple, quadruple what you bought it for. That is real wealth.
It's
and
crazy.
that is like you're making wealth just from the world turning, right? This is just time, right?
The best thing is that while you're cash flowing the property, your tenant is paying down the debt or whatever, you're collecting money.
Yep.
And along the way, the house is actually gaining value.
Yep.
In Maricopa County, where you and I live, Phoenix, Arizona, the average appreciation rate is 5%. So if I bought a house for 100 grand today, next year it's going to be 105. And the next year it's going to be, guys, it compounds.
Compounds.
It
Yep.
compounds.
Yep.
That's scary to think about. People are sitting there trying to throw money in a 401k and they're trying to do all this stuff in their 9 to 5. Meanwhile, you and I both own properties that are appreciating like crazy.
Crazy.
In fact, 2 months ago in Maricopa County, our real estate appreciated 9% in 1 month.
I'm telling you, I just sold a property. I bought it for $190,000 6 years ago. Just sold it for $340,000. I put less than $5,000 into it. I've rented it, cash flowed it, $400
Bing, bing, bing.
for the last 6 years, and now am selling that off. And that is a $150,000 difference. $150,000 difference from owning one property. That's just one. There's no mystery to why people become millionaires in real estate.
It's crazy.
It's these 5 things. I'm telling you, it is these 5 things. It is the cash flow, the appreciation. We're going to get through the rest of it. But this right here is so powerful because this is what really swells up your net worth. Okay? Now let's talk about depreciation.
Depreciation is actually my favorite part.
All right.
Okay, because there's a lot of TTP students. In fact, I met some of them right here in the studio last week, 2 weeks ago. And they were talking about how much money they're making from the things that you're teaching them.
Right.
They're raking in hundreds of thousands of dollars on a yearly basis.
I know.
What does that mean to them is they're fearful of how much money they're going to spend in taxes. Okay? So what depreciation is, it's a tax It's in the tax code, and it basically allows you to take a property and take a certain credit away from that property every year, and that credit wipes out a certain part of your tax burden.
Yep.
So let's go through it really quick. If I buy a house for $100,000, the IRS, that's who taxes us, the IRS allows me to depreciate that property over 27 and a half years. So that means I take 100,000, I divide it by 27 and a half, and that is a yearly increment I get to wipe off my taxes. So what would that be? That'd be about $2,700 a year I get in depreciation. So that means I can make $2,700 in my wholesale business, and my buy and hold business gets a $2,700 credit that I wipe out my tax burden over here.
And that's why, honestly, when we're doing all of our wholesaling and we have a lot of attorneys and business owners and doctors buying these properties cash, this is the reason why
100%.
Wealthy people buy real estate is because of the depreciation.
Well, if you
and listen, guys, talk to a CPA, break it all down,
Right.
make sure you understand everything. We're not CPAs.
But let's talk on that just for 1 second, because I know it can be somewhat of a boring topic. But
Yes.
imagine you're a student that's making $200,000-$300,000 wholesaling utilizing TTP.
Yep.
In a normal taxation, in a normal world, they're going to spend probably $60,000 to $100,000 in taxes. But if they're cherry picking the very best deals and buying and holding those through their pipeline, they're going to be able to wipe out that tax burden by utilizing depreciation. Okay, so my goal a lot of times is I say, at the end of the year, my tax accountant says, Pace, you need to go buy 6 properties so that we can get your federal income tax down to 0. You can truly get your tax burden to 0 by utilizing tax depreciation.
Listen, the government literally will reward you for buying real estate.
Yes.
They will.
One of the best books I ever read was Tax-Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright. It's Robert Kiyosaki's actual CPA. He wrote Tax-Free Wealth, and it goes all about the 2017 tax code and how they put together rules and they give you a game plan of how to not pay taxes by making cash flow and getting appreciation.
Incredible.
It's a cheat code.
What about capital?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's what I worry about. Let's say that I put $100,000 into a car. What's going to happen to that $100,000?
Burnt.
Done, right?
Yep.
But if I buy a property for $190,000 like you did, 6 years later, I made $350,000. I've protected my original investment. It's 100% secure. Nobody has lost money in real estate unless they jumped out at the wrong time.
Right.
So when you jump into real estate, you're protecting your original investment. Okay, I get people all the time. I don't know about you, but I get people asking me to invest in their weed farms and their this and their that and all their businesses. And I go, no, I'm all about real estate, baby. That's it. Real estate, real estate, real estate. Because what I earn today, I want to protect for forever. And that's capital protection. So last part of capital protection is, let's talk about this. In 1950, a hamburger was how much?
Oh, 10 cents?
10
5
cents.
Yeah.
But now I go down to McDonald's and I'm buying a Big Mac for $5. That's called inflation. That means the purchasing power of a dollar dwindles, which means that I want to buy the same hamburger 20 years later, the cost is 3 and 4 and 5 times more. What's cool is that $100,000 I put into a property, it goes up in value because of appreciation. So I protect myself against any inflation.
Right.
And when the government dumps $7 trillion into the economy by printing money, what's going to happen to the power of the dollar? But your money and my money sitting in a rental property actually goes up in value while everybody else's goes down.
Right.
The cheat code is that
One of my mentors literally said, Brent, I don't care if you pay retail for properties. I know that you're finding all these. Find good houses in good school districts and just buy them cash.
Yep.
And forget about them for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he's done. I mean, the guy's, $20-30 million, net worth type of guy. I mean, this is incredible. This is the strategy. This is the strategy that the wealthy build their fortunes on.
One of my private lenders is an anesthesiologist. Went to school for 16 years, spent $500,000 in education, student debt like you wouldn't believe, and again, spent 16 years of his life dedicated to a craft. Here he is now in his 60s, doesn't own any real estate other than his own house, and he's sitting here telling me, I wish I never went to medical school. I wish I went into real estate, because if I would have just put my time and energy into real estate, my net worth now, which is about 5 million, would actually be closer to 150 million. It is crazy. He invested in the wrong things. He spent all this time. Look, anesthesiologists are amazing, and I'm grateful that he's my lender. However, he sees the writing on the wall. Guys, if you have doctors, lawyers, all these people wishing they got into real estate, we are the luckiest human beings. Wholesale real estate is the number one wealth building tool if you are cherry picking your own properties.
That's it. You got to keep the properties.
Yes.
You got to keep the properties. Legacy wealth. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking big numbers here. We're talking 20 million, 30 million, 150 million, all these numbers. This is real life. This is real estate. This is what happens when first you focus on sourcing the deal, finding real estate opportunities, being able to find discounted properties, working with distressed property owners and bringing them, converting them into an opportunity to be able to solve their problem and either sell that property to somebody else or keep that property. Remember, wholesaling doesn't just mean assigning deals. Wholesaling means finding deals. It means sourcing the opportunities, and you need to keep some for yourself so that you can build this legacy wealth, so that you can be the example in your family of the person that buys all these properties and is savvy, and everybody goes to him and they ask him questions about business and they ask him questions about real estate and rentals and all these things. And now you get to educate your family on all of these things. And now all of a sudden they're buying a property a year. All of a sudden they're changing their financial future. All of a sudden they're getting the depreciation and appreciation and cash flow and all these things. And that is what we're talking about. That's what we're trying to bring here on this channel. This is what Pace is like, standing on the top of buildings screaming about and telling everybody, you need to buy real estate, you need to keep it, you need to have this. And it's because of this.
Yeah, and the way I look at legacy wealth is I say, okay, you've gone on 3-day vacations where you leave on a Friday, you come home on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Right? We've been in that world where on Sunday I'm sitting here thinking, man, I got to get back for Monday. I got my job.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what if you have enough cash flow and your houses are gaining value that you go, I've got plenty of money coming in. I can go home on next Wednesday.
Right.
I don't need to do this. And on top of it, I wholesale real estate. I can work anywhere I want, which is cool. But above and beyond that is not only spending more time with your family, quality time. I think you're probably one of the people that have really pushed me to spending more time with my family, watching you do what you do.
Yeah.
But above and beyond spending the time, it's also giving your children and your children's children the ability to make better decisions with their life. And what do I mean by that? Have you ever thought about an opportunity in your life, but you say, I can't do that because I can't afford it. I need to be at my 9-to-5 job. My kids will never have to worry about it. I can go to my kids and go, number one, my kids will work.
Yeah.
Number two, when they find their passion, I will say, great, let's go follow that passion. I have the wherewithal and the financial fortitude. I have the money in the bank to make anything happen for you if you put in the effort.
That's it.
When I was a kid, man, I had to go bag grocery at the grocery store. I had to go do things in order to get my allowance. That's not legacy wealth. I'm very appreciative of my father, but I want my children and my children's children to be able to make decisions that will impact them in a big, big way that doesn't have to do with being tied to their bank account. The only way to do that is through all of this.
Love it. Love it. It's absolutely right. And that's the most important thing. That legacy wealth, that freedom of schedule, that financial freedom, that's what this is all about. Going out there, being proactive, having quality conversations with distressed property owners as often as you can. That is the start, but I want to show you what the future looks like. I want to show you what the potential of this looks like. I want to get you inspired through Pace's story of owning over 100 properties. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. And you've done this all in the last
2 years.
2 years! Guys, I'm telling you, but it started with you in the office, joining TTP, getting things going. I mean, you've been in real estate, you've been doing it. It's not like you were just right out of it, but like literally you have changed everything so fast because you decided to be proactive, start sourcing your own deals, and really getting loud about it.
Yes, and I'm telling you, wholesaling, you said something a few minutes ago that I loved. Wholesaling is not all about just assigning deals.
Right.
It's about buying houses at wholesale prices.
That's it.
So here we are buying houses at wholesale prices. We keep them, and we're changing not just our future, we're changing our children's and our children's children's future. It is crazy what this will do for you. It is crazy. Most people go to a 9-to-5 job and they say, how do I put $1 million into my retirement account by the time I'm 65?
Yep.
And I'm sitting here thinking, just buy 5 houses, let them sit, and you'll have $3 million in your retirement account.
Yep.
It will do it for you.
Yep.
Real estate will build your portfolio for you.
Yep. It's absolutely right. It's just, you got to start. You got to start and keep that fire, keep that pilot light inside you that says, I can do this. I can put this together. I can do this. 2 years ago, he was like at bankruptcy.
Yeah, I had somebody file bankruptcy on me that owed me $1 million in cash. And I was basically, I sold my rental properties I had at the time to make sure my business was good. And I told myself at that point, I'm going to stop investing my money in anything but real estate. I'm not going to buy watches. I'm not going to buy all these things that don't appreciate in value. And I jumped full time into real estate, long-term buy and hold. And I'm telling you, I could quit right now, but it is way too fun.
Right. That's it. And remember, that goes back to making sure that the money that you make, you keep. I want you to keep 70 to 80% of every check that you get. And that should be your rule so that you don't get too crazy with your expenses, whether they be personal or whether they be business. And I like this point that I've been making on these videos, that 1,700, we talk about it on the Wholesale Hotline every Monday, 1,700 people became millionaires today. And I challenge everybody watching this, where on the calendar, find somewhere on the calendar that's going to be your day that you're one of those 1,700. Because I'm telling you, if you follow the plan, if you look at this, if you start sourcing opportunities, if you're proactive, if you take this seriously, if you don't listen to the naysayers and the people trying to bring you down or telling you that, oh, this is just one of those things that you're into again, whatever that is, if you put all that to the side and stay in this world, squat up with people that are doing this, be around people that are more wealthy than you, that are doing more than you, that are just different than the people that maybe be holding you back, then you can do this, and you're going to mark somewhere on that calendar, and it's going to be your day that you have a net worth of over $1 million, and that's what we want.
Yeah, it is absolutely amazing. Guys, I ask anytime I'm in a video with Brent Daniels, please make a comment. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what questions you have, because I always jump into his videos and I personally answer any questions, any comments that you guys have on videos that I'm involved in. Yep. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You're the freaking best.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. You guys are the best. I love you. Till next time. See ya.